is the famous story with Rabbi Shmuel Munkes. Today we have more details because the Rebbe is a Shemes. But I think the story carries a tremendous lesson to us. So the story goes, and here with all the details, is that when the Alter Rebbe began hearing the rumors that they were mastering on him, informing on him for in supporting Turkey and countries that were at war with Russia. So the Alter Rebbe, knowing that he may be arrested, prepared in his house a back door where he could hide in case anybody came to arrest him. He could escape. So indeed, some of the soldiers came of the regime, and they and as soon as they heard the knock on the window, so the Alter Rebbe escaped in the secret hiding place. The Rebbetzin, his Rebbetzin, remained there, and the soldiers started interrogating her and roughing her up. It says in the Shema that they actually slapped her and they knocked out a tooth. Then they left. The Alter Rebbe came out of the hiding place. It's middle of the night, and there's another knock on the window. As I said, some of these details we didn't know till the Shemas of the Rebbe were. And who is it? They peek out the window. It's none other than Shmuel Munkes. Shmuel Munkes came at night. The Alter Rebbe opened the door and says to Shmuel, "Du kommst bei Nacht. You also come at night." In other words, you're also frightening us. Who comes by night? The ungewünschene Elementen, the Mazikim, come by night. So Rav Shmuel Munkes says to the Alter Rebbe, "Ich habe nicht gewusst, dass beim Rebbe mit der Nacht. I didn't know by the Rebbe there's a night." In other words, the Rebbe has something to be afraid of. And then the famous part that everybody knows, he asked Shmuel Munkes, should he cooperate and allow himself to get arrested? So here's, when I'll share with you a line that many people don't know, that was not printed because it was so sharp. So Shmuel Munkes famously answered, he said to the Alter Rebbe, "Memonavshach, either or. Eb bist der Rebbe, they're going to shot, and if you're a Rebbe, nothing's going to happen. The Rebbe still protect you. Und eben nicht, and here's ... But since you all came out late in the night, I'll reveal to you what it says. It's a little secret. Sekum der Akel in Kop, you deserve a bullet to your head," as Shmuel Munkes said to the Alter Rebbe. Fatzunemen, the Geschmack von Elam Hazer, von Azefel Chsidim. So taking away the pleasure of Elam Hazer from so many Chsidim. Now, it's another Verbringen. How could a Chossid say that to a Rebbe? Even as a joke. Now, obviously, Shmuel Munkes didn't even have a Havamina that second half is true. Maybe that's why he could say it, but by him, the Rebbe is a Rebbe, Shtavas Serein. But he said that to the Alter Rebbe, imagine. If the Rebbe is Emes, like Rav Shmuel Munkes said, that the Rebbe is a Emes Lamite, then he's Emes whether it works out the way you like it or you don't like it. And if he's not, get out right now, even when things are going good. In other words, you're only here when everything is nice. The Rebbe is Nitzchi because it looks good to me, and because it's nice. And if there's a heart attack, suddenly the Nitzchi is not there. Monavshach, a Rebbe is a Rebbe. Like Shmuel Munkes said. When the Tzemach Tzedek's Rebbetzin Chaim Mushka was nostalgic, so we know that Tzemach Tzedek went into a, whatever you want to call it, a helam. It didn't say Mamorim anymore. There was no Yechidus, there were no answers. I'm not sure how long it lasted, but it was definitely we know it from letters. Chassidim tried. They told the Tzemach Tzedek that we need to have. Tzemach Tzedek vos kanechton ein melech b'lei matronisa. A king is not a king without a queen, which of course is very strong words. So ein melech b'lei matronisa, and the Chassidim answered, Teira is called a Malka. Yeah, but the Tzemach Tzedek was not consoled. So it was a dark time because Chassidim, the Tzemach Tzedek wasn't secluded. Then the word came that Tzemach Tzedek is going to say a Maimer Chassidus. So you can imagine the Simcha Gedela. Tzemach Tzedek is going to say a Maimer Chassidus after all this. Chassidim gathered the Lubavitch. Rabbi Hillel Paracher, so also he was already older man by then, but still a Maimer for him. That Tzemach Rebbe Gezang a Maimer came to Lubavitch. It was hard. He came. They're all waiting for Tzemach Tzedek to come say the Maimer Chassidus. Listen to this. When I heard it from Rabbi Shmuel, I think Rabbi Shmuel Levitin. They're waiting. Half hour passes. 45 minutes. Tzemach Tzedek's not coming out. Rabbi Hillel couldn't wait because he was very physically not well, so he was walking out he would come back, but he was walking out. And then he suddenly heard these two younger, whatever you want to call them, younger Chassidim, they're talking to each other, and he didn't like what he heard. They were talking somewhat in a language you're not supposed to talk about a Rebbe. Like they were saying, was Kementon, the Rebbe is, I don't know whether they said Moreshcheda or some other expression like that. So you can imagine Rabbi Hillel heard that, he got a new surge of chayas, and he went over to them. This is exactly how I heard the story. And he told them, Shvenzelach, Shvenzelach, Shvenzelach. You can all interpret it as you see fit. There's mild interpretations. You can use more explicit interpretations. It says Shvenzelach, Shvenzelach, Shvenzelach. Was meint ihr? A Rebbe is eigen an noz mit hamoil. A Rebbe is a lekus. B'shas edai helam af a lekus. Edai helam af a Rebbe. What do you think? A Rebbe is eyes, nose, and a mouth. A Rebbe is godliness. And when there's a concealment on the lekus, on godliness, there's a concealment on the Rebbe. You think about, I mean, when you hear it, it's poshut. But it's a whole different way of looking at a Rebbe. In other words, a Rebbe is a dung b'l'mayla. There's Shchinta begalusa also. The Eibishter also cries, kavyochel. So a Rebbe could also cry, and a Rebbe could also be what we call, it's not sad like we're sad. It's elikus, it's a getliche sadness, so to speak, a getliche helam. Now this is the way you speak about a Rebbe, if you're going to speak already. But when you hear and learn what a Rebbe really is, these stories, Shmuel Munkus said, and that's why I think maybe that story is so Yutas Kislev. Shmuel Munkus, in a sense, as a chassid, because the Alter Rebbe didn't know that if he's a real Rebbe, he doesn't have to be afraid, but he needed Shmuel Munkus to tell him that you're a Rebbe and the Rebbe will protect you. But when a chassid says it, it means even Das Tachten, even Elam Hazeh recognizes it, that a Rebbe is a nitzchi, and there's nothing to be afraid of. And the other option is b'chal not an option, because the other option means if you're really not a Rebbe, then everything you did, you deserve the worst. What kind of behavior is that of teaching chassidus and bittul and then? So essentially, Yutas Kislev is a testimony that it's nitzchi. When the Alter Rebbe in prison asked the Baal Shem Tov and the Maggid when they visited him, what should he do? And they said, Adarab, when you come out, you should even more spread more chassidus, because there was a vindication that what the Alter Rebbe was doing was not only allowed, that on the contrary, the Rebbe Rashab says, Asheshver Zogen, that's what he says. It's hard to say this, but you could say that Peterburg, meaning Yutas Kislev, is al derech zayish eloi moitzi shamnei achu keitchenese. He doesn't want to say it on the Alter Rebbe, keitchenese, meaning kvetched. But the Alter Rebbe, when he was pressed, he was squeezed, the olive oil came flowing. So Yutas Kislev today, Tovshin Nun, Tovshin Pei Beis, has particular meaning that the nitzchis of the Alter Rebbe and all the Rabbeim, we need to hold on to that. That's the only thing we have. There's no other option, to be honest. I mean, Chaz v'Shalom, someone has questions, by all means, ask your questions. And I know many people have very big challenges. But at the end of the day, like Reb Shmuel Munkus said, Bista Rebbe, this is it. There's really no two options. It's either totally Emes or totally Sheker. There's really no half Emes here. And I know it sounds very extreme, but I don't really see another option, to be honest. When you're coming to matters like this, as a Rebbe or there's Nishke Rebbe. And obviously we know there's only one option here.